Hello, my name's Gavin. This is Genre Books. It's Tuesday. It's Tag Tuesday. And today's tag was a little different. This is the My Life in Genre tag. I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat, and the tag was originally created by Reading from the Depths. And like I say, this tag is a little different. This was a garden of forking paths. This was a choose your own adventure tag. There are different ways to tackle it. There were a multitude of prompts, and you weave your journey through those prompts. You could be a generalist, you could be a specialist. Or was it a specialist? No, I've gone for genre partisan, not specialist, partisan. And the genres I've chosen, unsurprisingly, science fiction and fantasy. There are 5 prompts to each. Let's start with the science fiction. Prompt number 1. What is something you have done that is beyond belief, something you didn't think you could accomplish until you actually did it? I'm going to choose something with music. I've been in bands since I was 14, 15. And these have been rock bands. This has been doing some breakbeat in the late 90s. And I did a little bit by myself. I did a couple of very low budget, unseen movie scores, but I hadn't really sat down and did it myself properly until a few years ago, when I made myself do just that. I set myself some targets, produced some pieces, and got them onto various outlets, including Spotify, linked below. But one of those places was somewhere that sells stock music, so people can come along, buy your music non-exclusively and use for their own projects. And I made a few dollars at this every now and again, and I literally mean a few. The bottom has fallen out of this market entirely. And then a couple of weeks ago, I had a notification, and it wasn't from the firm themselves, it was from PayPal saying, well, we need your ID if we're going to send you this amount of money. And someone had paid $2,000 for the entire catalogue. Now there's a story attached to that. This isn't someone who's glommed onto my music specifically. This is a data aggregator who has just spent all of his venture capital money on people's music. But I'll take that. I didn't think I would ever get paid for doing something I liked. I think very few people get paid for doing something they liked, so I will take it as a win. I will also be very cognizant it's also a one-off. Prompt number 2, space opera. What is your most memorable moment while travelling or vacationing? I'm going to choose holiday. It was our honeymoon, and the memory that I can share is we went to Switzerland. One of the places we went to in Switzerland was Wengen, and one of the places we went to when visiting Wengen was through the Lauterbrunnen Valley. So we come down off of our mountain, walk the length of the Lauterbrunnen Valley, and take the funicular and cable car up to a place called Piz Gloria, and the whole day was just fantastic. And as a genre aficionado, there's a lot to take in a day trip like this. The Lauterbrunnen Valley apparently is Tolkien's inspiration for Rivendell. Piz Gloria is, well, the top of Piz Gloria, there is a revolving restaurant. But this revolving restaurant is also Ernst Stavros Blofeld's base from the James Bond film On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So that day was ticking an awful lot of boxes. Prompt number 3, Apocalyptic, Dystopian. What skill or personality trait makes you invaluable to your friend group? Well, let's be frank, in the event of the apocalypse or any similar such event, I am one of the many people who perish. I'm not going to be a survivor. However, on the off chance that I am, I could probably make beer. And I think in coping with the loss of the entire world, or the world as we knew it, people might need a beer. So I'm taking that one. Prompt number 4, military science fiction. What is one time you excelled under pressure? I don't think a story from work is going to be particularly interesting, but that would be my example. I will not go into specifics, but we had a new client to set up on all of our systems. I work in an industry that has so much regulation, it's untrue. There's a lot of organisation needed. I was, for a good couple of months, putting in very long days at the office. This was in the days where you still had to go to the office 5 days a week. This was the first time in this role I was performing these actions, so very much writing some of the rule book as I went along, writing out the procedures for what I knew would be the next time this happens, as well as following the procedures that did already exist for components. And I think knowing that everything relied upon what I was doing made me excel. And I think for all the thanks you get, it also taught me never to make that much bloody effort ever again. Prompt number 5, Cyberpunk. If you could delegate one part of your life to a robot or AI, what would it be? Well, it would be my work. There is, rightly, a lot of people worried that AI will be coming for their jobs. It's not there yet, but given the rate that it seems to be learning, it won't be very long. Unfortunately, what we were promised and what we have got are two vastly different things. We thought robots and AI would be doing all the menial tasks. They can't. Robots at the moment can't pick vegetables or fruit properly. What they will be able to do is draft legal briefs, do accountancy. What people are making them do at the moment is this data aggregation, taking in all the world's artwork and giving some mushy response when prompted to create something in that artwork style. I think we were all promised a future where we would have more leisure hours to do all the writing and the music and the arts, whilst the robots got on and did all the mundane stuff. What's turning out to be the case is exactly the opposite. Second set of prompts, fantasy. First prompt in fantasy, what excites you? Books, as might be apparent, and music. This is the reason I don't often reread things. I am excited for the next thing. I know that I could read something different, never reread anything for the rest of my life, and never even scratch the surface. I could also never listen to the same piece of music twice for the rest of my life and never hear the same piece of music. I re-listen to things a lot more than I reread things. but the option's there. And I love hearing something I like that I've never heard before. So yeah, that's what keeps me excited for the next thing. Prompt number 2, high fantasy. You're going on a life-saving quest. What 5 people, real or fictional, alive or dead, make up your fellowship? I'm going to probably just delve into the 70s and 80s pop culture for this. With, I think, one exception. Let's get Robin Hood in there. So I want to base this a little bit on perhaps the asset classes from Dungeons and Dragons. And there's your ranger type. Your if they're going to be people, they can't be elves, they can't be dwarves. So I don't have an elf, so there's, he's good with a bow and arrow. We are led to believe. And for magic, I'm going to have Polgara, the sorceress from the David Eddings series, the Belgariad. She's powerful, and she's, from what I remember, unfussy about it, and not too big-headed like many male magic practitioners are. Then I'm going to go very pop culture-y. We want someone who's fast. So someone who's very fast on their legs. Steve Austin, the $6 million man. Yeah, I think it'd be handy in a tight spot. As would Tom Baker's Doctor Who. Not so much for the running, although there's plenty of running, but getting you out of traps, sticky situations, etc. He's a Time Lord, so I'm hoping he counts as a person. But yeah, he's fantastic, and I think he's probably, I don't think he's my favourite iteration of the Doctor, but he's certainly the one who's going to be best for the quest. And that leaves one more spot. I think we need the strong man, we need the muscle, we need the enforcer. I'm going for Mr. T. Not B.A. Baracus, Mr. T. Prompt number 3, sword and sorcery, heroic fantasy. Magic exists, but if you practice it, there's a good chance it will corrupt you. Are you still curious to try it, and why? I think initially my response is no, I am not curious to try it because I don't want to be corrupted. Then you start giving yourself the problems around this. What can your magic do? Is it worth your corruption for the good that it will do people? Yeah, this is the utilitarian argument, but if you could use your magic to send a tsunami back into the ocean, avert an avalanche, stop an earthquake, redirect a hurricane, alter an election, you'd probably want to take the chance for the greater good. So the answer is no, I wouldn't, but I reserve the right to be able to. I think you'd have to choose your battles very wisely. I'm guessing it doesn't corrupt you all at once, and there's a gradual slide. Prompt number 4, urban fantasy. What is one magical power you would like to have? Easiest question of the lot. Time manipulation, please. Now this is selfish as well as unselfish. I'm obviously not much of the heroic build, but with being able to stop time, that's handy. You can save a lot of people. Being able to skip a little bit forward in time to see what happens, that's going to be handy for the bank balance. I have absolutely no compunction about wiping out some bookies. But more selfishly, it's great for getting in some more reading. Just stop time, read what you want to, get back to your normal time flow. I would specifically like to say I don't want to age anymore whilst I am in frozen time. This really stretched the reading out. Prompt number 5, and the last prompt, dark academia. What is one thing that you have learned after finishing any formal education that has had an impact on your life? I have learned that I should have been paying attention. I'll tag some people below. I think the inventive, choosing nature of this tag will appeal. I think it's probably a tag you could do multiple times to try and cover all the other genres. And I'd like to thank Reading from the Depths for really putting in the spade work in creating this tag. I'd also like to thank Pat for tagging me, and until next time, bye.